Hello, yogis. Happy Monday. Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Aubrey. How are you today? Actually, if you want, you can turn on the mic for a moment and we can do a quick check-in. How are your bodies? How are your minds today? Actually, I don't know if Steph's allowed that. Maybe.
Actually, just re-allowed it. Yep.
Sorry, not try it. Now we can do a check-in.
Hello.
Hi, Jeannie. How are you?
Wow. I'm good. Had a great weekend. Had a great cry after Wednesday's class. Thank you for opening me up to do that. Sore shoulders from whacking a pickleball around.
Okay, we'll work on shoulders. Aubrey, how are you?
Sad. I just went through a breakup, so I went through lots of crying. It's cool.
Okay. I'm sorry. My heart is with you, Aubrey, and this is change is tough. Change is tough, and I'm sorry. I'm with you. As a side note, call me anytime. But let's move our bodies today, and I'm kind of with you, Jeannie, and maybe where you will be soon, Aubrey, in needing this cathartic release. And mine happened on Wednesday and Friday and Saturday. It just kind of kept happening, these layers of processing that we're going through, and it's a process. Someone reminded me of that, and that was a really I needed to hear that it's a process. We're all on this path together. Where we are in that process, whether it's our physical journey, our spiritual journey, our social justice journey, or our journey through whiteness, as some of us, most of us are going through. So today, let's just be where we are in the process, and we'll open up our shoulders for sure.
I can't believe I have my two favorite instructors in front of me. Oh my god.
This is such great energy being with you. I'm so glad we're here. So let's begin in a seated position with a block or without, but sitting up tall with some length and energy through the spine. Let's do 3 cleansing breaths. Inhale through the nose. Big exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more big inhale, filling up, expanding the belly, really getting exaggeratedly large. And then exhale, completely empty. Find your breath rhythm. Long, slow inhales. Equally long and slow exhales. Let's today work with 4-part breathing. Inhale, puraka. You pour air into the lungs, filling up from the bottom to the top and using the diaphragm to do. Then after you're full, there's a moment, kumbhaka, antar kumbhaka, where you retain the energy and fullness of the lungs without much tension. It's a light holding, a retention, and then you exhale, rechaka. Emptying the air completely, that's stage 3. And then there's a moment after your exhale where you're empty of air, a pause, Bahia kumbhaka, before you inhale again. So those 4 parts, inhale, pause, exhale, pause. Puraka, antar kumbhaka, rechaka, emptying, and then Bahia kumbhaka. Begin to notice the 4 parts of your breath. You've already equalized the inhale and exhale so they're equal in length, equal in intensity. Begin to expand the time of your kumbhaka. the retention, both on the full and the empty part of the inhale. You're full of air, you hold very lightly, no tension in the body, no extra tension, and exhale, then you suspend for a moment the breath, staying empty, then breathe again. The moments of retention should feel placid. The face is soft, jaw is soft. It's like you're a sponge absorbing all the goodness from the air you've taken in and enjoying the cleansing aspect of being empty and wringing out fully. 2 or 3 more rounds, 4-part breathing. Bring your hands together at the center of your chest, Anjali Mudra. We're going to begin warming up our shoulders and arms and the upper back. You can blink your eyes open if you choose, or keep your eyes closed. Take your hands and begin to circle them, fingers forward and down. And as you do that, you're pressing your hands inward toward one another. Getting a little stretch through the forearms and through the wrists, and then reverse your direction. You can articulate your hands, fingers, and kind of fan the fingers as you go, but keep pressing the hands, the wrists, and then the sides, backs of your hands. And you can do this quickly or slowly. Then make a fist with your hand, really tight fist. Almost shake the forearms, and then fan the fingers out, opening up the hands, and maybe shake the hands. Sweep your arms up, inhaling. Hands above head, press the hands together and draw them down through the center. Light pressure between your hands. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, midline pressure on the way down. 2 or 3 more rounds on your own breath rhythm. You might find the 4-part breath, suspending the length at the top, pausing for a moment for retention at the bottom when you're empty. This begins to slow your movement when you take a moment to lengthen the breath cycle and feel extra length through the body in that retention moment. And then extra ease in the mind on the empty retention moment. One last time. Take your right arm up, palm facing the ear. Bend the body to the side. Your hip stays connected to the floor, left hip. Look under the arm and you can circle your arm. As you do so, the hand rotates. Palm down, thumb forward. Palm down, thumb back. Or palm back. Thumb down, palm back. So thumb up and thumb down gives you the proper arm rotation. Thumb up, rotate, thumb down. One more. From here, find a little side body length and reach up. Release your left hand. Other side, inhale. And spill over, keeping your hip connected to the floor. For me, that's the challenge. Then look under the arm and find circles with your breath rhythm, maybe connecting to the 4-part breath. Thumb forward. Arm rotates, thumb down. One more circle. Next time you reach to the side, find side body energy and inhale up, exhale the hand down. Easy rotation to the right. One hand to the knee, the other hand behind you. Inhale, get tall through the torso. Exhale, rotate. While you're in the twist, think about four-part breathing. Inhale. A light pause, enjoy that moment of fullness. Exhale, gently wringing out. On your next inhale, gently unwind. Rotate second side, one hand to the knee, other hand behind you. Find your lengthening inhale. Little pause before you exhale and wring out. Deepening until the bottom of the exhale where you retain for a moment. So four-part breathing, when you think about that space in between the inhale and exhale, you could imagine that space is creating space in the body and space in the mind. You may actually feel space in the body and gently unwind. And as you're focusing on this way of breathing, it focuses the mind, which then creates space, getting rid of all that chatter that we call thought. Let's transition to our belly, or on our backs, excuse me. We'll do a little bit of spine and core warm up here on our back. Your feet are on the floor, knees up toward the sky. Reconnect with your four-part breathing. Big inhale. A soft pause. And an exhale. Hands by your hips. Shoulders are wide for shoulder bridge. Start with an inhale. Exhale, lift your hips. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Connect to your own breath rhythm here. I invite you to still acknowledge the pause, the kumbhaka moment, but it may be a little shorter here as you're moving more rhythmically with the inhale and exhale. Exhaling up, inhaling down. One more. Bring your knees into your chest, one hand on each knee. Move your femurs as you like, in and out, forward and back like levers, circles. Keep your right knee, extend the left leg long. Heel rests on the floor. Four-part breath. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. As you exhale, exchange legs. Opposite heel resting on the floor. Find your four-part breath rhythm. And you'll notice the length of the inhale and exhale begins to change pretty dramatically. And the same thing for your ability to retain full or empty breaths. Becomes more challenging when the practice becomes more rigorous. Exhale, bring both knees into your chest. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders. So you're looking in toward the navel, and we'll move like a starfish. Inhale, reach fingers away from toes. Exhale, gather. Inhale, reach, suspend. Exhale, gather. 3 more on your own rhythm. Last one, I think I lost count. And release your head, neck, and shoulders. Roll side to side or forward and back if either of those directions feel good. Place your feet on the floor. arms out to a T, and your feet can be a little farther from your hips and a little wider than hips width. Drop your knees over to the right, pause for a moment, let the weight of your legs take over so you can relax all the muscles of your belly. Reach your left arm up to the diagonal and look toward that arm. So the arm is reaching away from your knees. Then think about the parts of your body connected to the floor. Right shoulder and right hip in particular. Let right shoulder and hip be heavy for an inhale. Exhale, the belly button deepens and your knees return to vertical. The arm does a little adjustment back to the T position. Drop your knees over to the left. Oops, I hit a block. Let the weight of your knees take over and soften any effort. Relax the belly. Then do a little spatial intention and reach to the diagonal with your right hand. Look to the right as your knees are pulling toward the diagonal left. So it's this diagonal spiral through the body. And then the chest might want to lift up toward the sky. Do the opposite. Let the body sink into the floor as you reach into the diagonal. Inhale, pause. Exhale, deepen your belly button to bring the knees up. One more time each side. Drop the knees to the right. Reach to the left. It's a subtle reach. You're just intentioning the arms and legs away from each other on the diagonal. As you exhale, deepen and use that deep belly connection to pull the knees up. Drop the knees to the other side. Diagonal reach through the arm and shoulder. Visualize this very light spiral through the body. It's connecting to muscles you might be saying, oh, what's that? Or, oh, what's that? I am. One more breath in. Deepen your abdomen as you exhale. Draw the knees up. Now you're welcome to do that same variation again, or we're going to take it from elementary school to college in terms of amping it up. This is very much core work now. Knees are at 90 degrees, arms are at 90 in relation to the spine. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, move your knees over to 2 o'clock. Your feet are hovering off the floor. Exhale, your belly button, bring the knees back to 12 o'clock. Knees over to 10. Exhale, knees back to 12. Inhale, 2. Exhale, 12. Inhale, 10. Exhale, 12. Right, left on your own time. Exhale as you return. Squeeze the inner thighs. Last time each side. Your shoulders are wide and very stable. Last time. Hug your knees. Adjusting to tabletop, so you can rock forward and back if that's a comfortable movement, or roll to your right side. We'll come to quadruped. Hands and knees. Before we come into cat and cow, let's take our hands outside the mat with the thumbs facing forward. Begin to lead with the shoulder toward the floor as you move side to side. So it's a kind of odd movement where the shoulder shrugs forward and you're almost trying to touch the front of the shoulder down to the floor first and then return to tabletop. I'm looking toward the hand or looking away from the direction I'm moving, toward the arm that's extending. And you can pick up the pace and make this a little more swing-like, side to side. The more you rotate the shoulder in, the more exaggerated the sensation will be through the pecs. then try looking the other direction. Instead of looking toward the hand that remains straight, try looking toward the elbow that's bending. It's just a different sensation in the neck. All right, now let's come back to tabletop. We did a little chest opening there for our pecs. Let's take that stretch into cat and cow. Inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, flex. Inhale, extend. Exhale, flex. 2 more or 3 more on your own rhythm. You could consider 4-part breathing, pausing after your inhale and pausing after your exhale. One last inhale and exhale. Then return to tabletop. This is a shoulder movement, but also it's for your hips. We talked about what your thumb does and how it lets your arm rotate. So let's just do the arm movement. Reach forward and your thumb is up. You don't have to have your thumb pointing up. I'm just doing that so you can see. Then as you sweep your arm back, your thumb rotates to point down. Do that again. Thumb from the bottom becomes thumb up. And then as you sweep it around, it just naturally rotates to be thumb down. Now we do that with hip movement. Inhale, thumb forward. Hips move back as you go thumb down, forehead to floor. Hips guide you forward. Your left arm is still strong on the floor as your right arm is moving with the hips. Inhale, hips and arm forward. You can look forward and then exhale, forehead to the floor, thumb down, hips back. Inhale forward, exhale back. One more on this side. And switch arms. Let's set up the it's thumb movement, but your thumb doesn't actually move. It's shoulder movement. So your thumb is up. Then as the arm sweeps back, the thumb rotates down. That's just natural external rotation. Sweep down and forward. And try to get it close to the ear as possible and then rotate down. One more, just the shoulder. And thumb rotate down. Now let's add the hips. Thumb is forward, you're reaching forward. The hips come back, arm rotates down. Look forward, reach forward. Inhale, exhale. Your right hand is firmly connected to the floor. You feel that through your underside armpit on the right. 2 more. And last one. Now let's take a moment in child's pose to set up, or tabletop to set up our knees in child's pose. We'll do wide knee variation. Forehead on the floor. You can caterpillar your hands forward to get a little extra stretch through the shoulders and through the upper spine. Breathe into that space, finding your 4-part breath rhythm again. So at least in my Vinyasa class, we moved from repetitive movement to held movement quite frequently. But all the while, there's awareness of the breath rhythm. So you're moving with the breath, and then you're still with the breath. Let's walk our hands over to the right. The right hand can wrap behind the back, or you can stack left hand on right. Breathe. 4-part breath. One more 4-part breath cycle, making observations on the moments of kumbhaka, when you're full of air and when you're empty, noticing what happens in the body and in the mind. After your next exhale, pass through center and over to the other side. Right hand reaching long, left hand can wrap behind the back if you choose. Breath rhythm. And gently return. Let's come up, tabletop, and into our first downward dog. Set up your hands well, tuck your toes, and lift the hips up and back. Pedal out through the feet as you breathe. So just realize I never gave you something to listen to other than me, so I'll turn on some music. And continue your 4-part breathing in downward dog. One more long inhale, pause. Exhale, pause. And walk your feet toward your hands. I think a little music is going, and let me know if it's ever too loud. Standing at the top of the mat, knees are bent. You can interlace opposite elbows. Find your 4-part breath once again. As we move out of the warm-up phase and into some of our more rigorous movement, the breath cycle really begins to shift to accommodate. Just notice how it changes. One breath in and breath out. Bend your knees, strong glutes as you slowly unfurl your spine. All right, we'll move into Sun Salutation B right away. Start with an inhale. Exhale, find chair. Sitting your hips low. Sweep your arms forward. They can be here, especially if the shoulders are tight, or above head. So similar to our hands and knees position, the thumbs are back or up. One more inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift as you inhale. And exhale through Vinyasa, high plank. Pause for a moment. The first time through, let's use the knees. Exhale to low plank. Mini cobra. First big extension, take it easy. Exhale, release. Inhale back to table. Or plank, yogi's choice, then downward dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Then think about 4-part breathing. As you exhale, bring your big toes together. Right leg lifts. Left heel remains strong. Take another breath in. Exhale, knee to nose, dome your spine. Inhale, extend. Step your right foot through. Lower the back knee down. Untuck the toe. Bring your torso up. Make little adjustments to the body as needed in your lunge. As you're ready, sweep the arms up. 4-part breathing for at least one full cycle. Next inhale, reach forward, look up, exhale, plank dog. Second side, left leg lifts, right heel remains strong. Another breath in, knee and chin come together. Inhale, extend, step your left foot through. Lower the knee down and tuck the toe. Bring your torso up and make little adjustments as needed. Add the arm. Both arms. You can use them both. Then find your 4-part breath rhythm. The next inhale can extend the spine. As you exhale, reach forward, bring your back foot forward, top of the mat. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, lower. Chair, hips low, torso up. Stand up, Tadasana. One full 4-part breath. Round 2, begin with an inhale. Exhale, chair. Committing to 4-part breathing even through the rigor of your practice. The exhale might be a little shorter, and that's okay. Last breath in. Exhale, dive. Half lift. Vinyasa, high plank, low plank, and you can use your knees. I will use my knees today. Cobra. And transition to downward dog however you like. And this can be back through plank or table as I'm demonstrating, and into downward dog. Then find one 4-part breath at least. Big toes are together. The right leg lifts for an inhale. Knee and chin come together. Inhale, extend the leg again. Step the right foot through. Micro bend the back knee or lower the knee down as you bring torso up. Add your arms as you're stable. At least one 4-part breath here. On your next inhale, you can extend the spine looking skyward. Exhale, plank dog. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Knee and chin come together as you exhale. Inhale, extend. Step the foot through, high or low lunge. And you can go torso, then hands, or they can rise together. At least one 4-part breath. The spine can extend on any inhale. As you exhale, reach forward, your back foot comes forward. Half lift. And release. Chair. And stand up, Tadasana. Pardon my belly rub, I have a little cramp. But we're going into our right side, or going into one more time, but I'd like to lead with the left side is what I want to say. So we're going to lead back with our left leg. Inhale. Exhale, chair. Add your arms. Dive forward. Slowing down the sequence by adding a slight pause. At the top, inhale, half lift. Vinyasa, you can step or hop this, making it a transition that works for you. Cobra on your inhale. Downward dog on your exhale. A breath cycle. Right leg lifts. Knee and chin come together. Right leg lifts. And lunge. Body up. Just one inhale. Maybe with a little pause at the top. And exhale. The pause helps you transition through downward dog. To the left side, inhale left. Chin and knee come together. Extend. Lunge. One long inhale up with a pause. Reach forward. And bring your back foot forward. I didn't lead with the left foot as I intended. Half lift. And release. Chair. And stand up Tadasana. Breathe in. And breathe out. Let's work into a warrior series. So we use the long edge of the mat. Starting with the right foot, we'll stand on one leg for a moment. As you stand on one leg, let's do a little preparation work because this will be our transition. Place your hand on top of the knee and kick your knee up. So you're kicking your knee upward into your hand. Up, 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 and you feel your low ab right here engage. Then kick your knee out into the hand. Put your hand on the outside of the knee and kick out. Put your hand on the inside and kick your knee in. And you're not kicking, you're just isometrically engaging. And then last one, put your hand underneath and kick your shin or your femur down. That really engages for me the back. Then just hold your leg there and imagine all those directions. Up, out, in, and down. And you're really stable in the hip. Breathe in, sweep your arms up. Step back into warrior two. The right foot steps back and pivots to the floor. You sweep your arms out. So double check this alignment. You're rotated in the front hip, parallel in the back hip. Breathe in and breathe out. Four-part breathing as the left arm goes to the sky. Option to wrap your right hand around the back. Another inhale. Exhale, change. Reach forward and down toward the ankle. Back arm up to the sky for side angle. Next, inhale, bring your body up. Interlace your hands behind your back. A humble warrior, you're kind of going to the diagonal. As you reach forward, the knuckles could reach up. They don't go all the way overhead, they just kind of reach skyward. And then the knuckles, as if someone were pulling them, bring you back up. The chest leads you down. And the knuckles pull you up. One more time. Chest leads you down. Pause for a breath. Allow the knuckles to bring you up. And turn your toes to face the long edge of the mat. Wide-legged forward fold, hands on the hips. Breathe in and breathe out, fold. Hands can come to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. You can let your arms rest on the floor. You could interlace elbows. You could reach your hands through. Four-part breathing. Release any grip or adjust your hands. Maybe bring them to the thighs, bend the knees as you inhale to stand up. Turn your left toes to the front, and one big step or two mini steps to come to the top. Let's do our second side. Standing on the right leg, lift the left. And before we do our isometric isolations, check out what's going on. What's engaged? Where do you feel supported? Take left hand to top of thigh. Then kick your knee up and feel this band of energy in the low abs. Whoops, knock you over or support the leg. Then hand to the outside of the knee, try kicking out. And it feels like my hips widen when I do that. Take my hand to the inside of the knee and kick your inner thigh inward toward the midline. And for me, it almost still feels like my hips widen in the back. It's an odd sensation. And then take your hand underneath, kick downward. Yeah, and you notice those little changes of support. That's totally fine. Then stand there, feel up, out, in and downward energy. Really three-dimensional support through the hips. Sweep your arms up and swing it back to a warrior two. Softening that standing leg as you make that big positional adjustment. Sweep your arms out to the side and find four-part breathing. Right hand reaches to sky. Left hand can wrap behind your back. Enjoy another inhale. Pause. Exhale, we change through warrior two, reaching to side angle. Four-part breathing, very much at the forefront of your mind, creating space in the breath, in the body, and in your mind. The next inhale brings you up. Interlace your hands the awkward way behind your back so that wonky thumb is on top. And you're facing not your front leg and not your back leg, kind of in between both of them. Breathe in, breathe out, fold, leading with the chest down. Leading with the back of your chest, your heart kind of brings you up. I could say the knuckles, but you could also think about this heart space pulling you up. Chest leads you down. The back of your chest, ribs lead you up. One more wave going down. Pause for an extra breath, four-part breath here. And inhale, come back up. I'm curious if that pop in my shoulder was loud enough that you heard it. It was so loud in this room. Turn your toes to face the long edge of your mat. Hands on your hips, or if you want to do one more interlace, you're welcome to. Breathe in, breathe out, fold. Four-part breath here. Hands come down to your hips, unclasp. Release the hands to the thighs and inhale as you stand all the way up. Turn your right toes to face the front edge of your mat and many steps or one giant step to the top. Let's do a little single leg balance here. Before we go anywhere, take a moment to acknowledge what it feels like to stand on 2 feet. If you close your eyes, someone in the 60s very intelligently called this the small dance. There's a little adjustment that's constantly happening in the body to help keep you erect. Because otherwise, if we didn't, our gravity would just pull us to the floor in a slump, in a lump, yeah? So notice that there's a little side to side or maybe forward to back sway, little changes of weight on your feet that naturally happen that we usually aren't perceptive of. So you're acknowledging the small dance. Then we'll come back to our left leg, right leg lift. Hand beneath the knee. And you can go for big toe if you choose, but it's the same variation, just holding a knee. Belt buckle stays straight forward. Breathe in, move your femur to the side as you exhale. The arm can extend, gaze can follow. Now double check that belt buckle starts to like to move to the side, but you keep your pelvis directly forward. One more breath in. Breath out, gently rotate. Pause for a moment before we twist. Notice the small dance in your body, these little adjustments you're making, then change hands. 4-part breathing as you rotate the spine. Again, the belt buckle has not moved. The pelvis is still directly forward. Your chest, however, is pointing toward the side. Last 4-part breath. As you come out of this, We're going to stay on a balance for one more pose. Cross the knee, cross the shin just above the knee. Then begin to sit your hips down, and as you do that, it could help to have your hands at the heart. Now as you're pressing together with the hands, you're also squeezing together at the hips and moving that pubic bone back. I'm just going to move to the side so you can see. Chest is lifting away from the thighs as the pelvis moves back. And stand up. Nice work. That was stable, yogis. Second side. Check out your small dance. And maybe take your feet wide. The dance is even smaller because you have a wide base, there's less adjusting. Then when you bring your feet together, you might notice just a little more weeble wobble through the torso. Shift your weight to the right. Release the left knee. And you have 4-part energy. We already warmed up the directions, so you're stable. Hand to the knee. Big toe if you choose. Think about your belt buckle the whole time. Move your femur. Option to add the hand. Consider your 4-part breathing. As you exhale, return to center and pause for a moment. Notice the small dance. Mine's a total vibration in the foot because this leg feels weak. Hand to the knee as you rotate. So my small dance is really exaggerated because my leg feels weak, so I have muscles actually vibrating to support. The belt buckle is still forward for your last 4-part breath. Gently unwind. Cross, shin, ankle over, femur, hands together. And think about the hands and the pubis moving, kind of stretching away from one another. Your chest is staying lifted as much as it wants to go down to the floor. It's your pelvis going to the floor while this stays up. Ooh, this side is tiring. I'm just shaking like mad. One more breath in. And gently release. I believe Aubrey knows this, but I had foot surgery a couple years ago, and this side is still weak 2 years later. Craziness. Let's do a sun salutation that'll get us down to the floor. Top of the mat. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Half lift as you inhale. Transition to downward dog however you like. Stepping, hopping, floating. Take a cobra. Down dog. We're going to do one more big opening sequence for the upper body and lower body together. Right leg lifts, bend the knee, 3-legged dog. And flip the dog, landing softly, and then lift the hips up to the sky. So the foot that was bent landed, and then your pelvis presses up toward the sky. I like to support my head by just gently holding behind. Then soften your hips and come to pigeon. Both hands to the floor and the right leg comes forward. A block or pillow if you need, right underneath the pelvis. And you can stay in lifted pigeon. This is a nice opening position for the upper body and the hips. You can also recline your pigeon. Connect to your breath rhythm, 4 parts. in Hatha Yoga philosophy, they have durational increments for the breath. Your inhale is this, then your kumbhaka is this. And there's sort of ideal ranges. The general rule of thumb is to lengthen your breath cycle. So your inhales are longer. That moment of pause is longer. And always the exhale is longer. So proportionally, you're maybe double in length, exhale versus inhale. In practice, that might look like inhale for 8, retain for 4, exhale for 16, retain for 4. On your next inhale, bring your body up. Transitioning to plank into downward dog. Doing any little adjustments in between. And we'll take our flip dog into pigeon second side. Left leg lifts, knee bends, and that bent knee is what lands on the floor. And the hips can be low to begin. Then you power up through the hips as they lift. The arm can sweep back to catch the head. And then the more you lift the hips...
Coming back right now, and I will unmute him. Beautiful. Jeremy, just so you're aware, we lost you just for the last 30 seconds to a minute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me again?
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm back though. I was like, what's... Someone's talking to me. So sorry. You flipped your dog and you landed in your flip dog. Or you take a three-legged dog. And then from there, you lift your hips up, catching your head. A wild thing moment. And then soften your hips, making your transition into pigeon. Then setting up the block as you need. Lifted pigeon or reclined, remembering your breath rhythm. 4 parts. And when you are working with the breath in 4 parts, it becomes a fun mentally engaging task that it really can absorb your mind and become this meditative practice. Inhale 8, retain for 4, exhale 16, retain for 4. And so it's always a proportion, 2 to 1 to 4. But you can start to play with that proportion, making the retention when you're not breathing. And you think about that, it's an effortless moment, full or empty of air. You're not doing anything, you're just sustaining. That's the space we want to increase and become more spacious. One more 4-part breath. Bring your body up and take another downward dog as you like, pedaling out through the feet, stretching your spine. And transitioning to the knees and to the back. However is easiest for you to roll over and lay down, we'll find our back. And at first we'll have the feet on the floor with knees up toward the sky. Pause. Reconnect with your 4-part breath rhythm. Knees to chest, happy baby. You can just hold the knees there in Apanasana, or just hold the feet in Supta Baddha Konasana, or go into happy baby Anandasana. Wherever you are, stay in your 4-part breathing space. Another big breath in. And a breath out. Begin to prepare your body for Shavasana. The legs are long, rotated outward. Same thing for the arms. The hips, ribs, and head are heavy on the floor. And for Shavasana, if you can guess, we're going to use the 4-part breath as our point of focus. And I'll invite you to create your own tally or ratio for breaths. It might be 8 counts to inhale, 4 counts to retain, 16 counts to exhale, and 4 counts to retain, or something like that. You may also notice where your breath naturally is in 4 parts, and that's an excellent place to begin without trying to establish a length. Just notice the length of the inhale, the length of your full retention, the length of exhale, and the length of your empty retention. Deepen your inhale and exhale. Stretch arms overhead, wiggling fingers and toes. Roll to your right side and press up to a seated position. We'll meet sitting for just a moment. Let's find 2 or 3 4-part breaths to close our practice. Your next inhale, let's finish with an Om. Gently blink your eyes open. Thank you so much for joining. It is so lovely to see you, to start my week with you. Have a great day. We can do a check-in here at the end and say hi-bye before we go. So sorry about that. Steph, I lost you for a second. I think I only know it because Steph chimed